9397 Network and Hot 9397 presents Sapphire'S Soup du Jour with Just Bob, stirring the pot and serving the latest soup. Brought to you by Haylove Saloon, Adam's Apple, Janet'sCloset.com, and Janet'sDungeon.com.
Oh, good morning. Ooh, it's Wednesday. Big deal. Happy Wednesday, hump day, whatever you call it. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody. Call it hump day. If you've been humped by a dog before in the park, you might go, I'm offended. It reminds me of getting humped by Fido. We got a good show planned for you today. When I say we, I mean me. It's a not make sense. We're going to try to make sense of it kind of day, but we're going to take lessons out of something. Will Smith, we're going to take lessons out of these things. See, there's always a way to make good out of things. Will Smith was on Trevor Noah and a couple of other things promoting his new movie, right? And there's a couple layers to that movie, right? Not only is it a sensitive subject, it's terribly, you see the scars on the back of the one man, a terrible part of our history, and there's a whole lot to that movie, but also the slap and what the repercussions were. So there's a lot to that, and we'll be getting into that too. And we got a couple of what the things. We've got the now everybody has to get married. We've got the new ruling from the court, from the Senate, House, whatever, from the government. We'll look into that too. We're going to go into what does that mean? How long do I got to marry a same-sex person, and when can I get divorced, and maybe I'll like it, and then how do I tell my parents and all that? Yeah. I know I'm wearing my dirty sweater. I don't care. It's cold. I tried to act like it's not. Doesn't work. It's cold. It's warm outside. It's getting cold. You hear the wind though. It's not bodies slamming against the window. It's actually the wind is whipping nice and good.
Be sure to download the free 9397
Jesus Christ. Who's in charge of the volume?
Chime in and be eligible to win prizes. Download
Cheers.
the free 9397 Network app today.
Initiating launch sequence.
2, 1.
Will Smith, Kim and Kanye. Uh-oh. Here we go. It's very windy. We'll be lucky to get this show in. Yeah, watch. You will be lucky. We'll try. If the broadcast does go bad, make sure you get on the app, 9397 Network's free app, and check it out there. Go online, 9397network.com. Tune in radio, 9397 Network. There's ways to find us. Don't be a putz. All right, you're darn right. It's morning and we're ready to go. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour. Happy hump day. Well, hope it's happy for you. You don't like Mondays. You don't like Wednesdays. What do you like? You know what I mean? We got a lot of stuff playing for you today once we make sure we're all good to go here.
Wednesdays, what do you like? You know what I mean?
Okay, perfect. Listen to us go. Happy Wednesday. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. And like I said, we do have a lot of cool things to talk about today. The Amityville Horror House is for sale. Will Smith is in the news once again, but we're going to make a good out of things. We're not going to talk about the slap and all that. We're going to talk about how do we learn lessons from this. We've got kids shooting each other in the street every day. Kids. A 15-year-old shooting another 15-year-old all the time, right? How do we stop all these things? Well, we're going to have a little town hall meeting about it. But first, we're going to address one thing. I'm all about the environment, and I'm all about doing what we can do to make it a better world and make the world last longer and all that. And we talked last week about the activists who decided they were going to splash paint or black paint all over a famous painting, and then the other cat glued his hand to it so they couldn't clean it properly. And we laughed about it, and we said how, what's wrong with you? You guys are not too bright and all that. But what about these two? I don't understand. I guess I understand that you're trying to bring awareness to something. But I don't understand this. In Berlin, two environmental activists glued themselves to a dinosaur display at Berlin's Natural History Museum Sunday. They glued themselves to a dinosaur display. All right, to protest what they said was the German government's failure to properly address the threat of climate change. Now, I dig it. I get it. I understand what you're saying, right? But how does, basically, if you glued yourself to the dinosaur itself, that's obviously disrespectful to the dinosaur, but I think they glued themselves to the poles holding the dinosaurs up. I don't understand. Okay, so you super glue yourself to the poles holding up the skeleton of a four-legged dinosaur that lived tens of millions of years ago. Right? Tens of millions of years ago. Quote, this is from Karis Connell, one of the protesters. She's 34 years old. Unlike the dinosaurs, we hold our fate in our hands. True. Do we want to go extinct like the dinosaurs, or do we want to survive? True. Now, Solveig Shinkoth, 42 years old, the other activist, as a mother of four, she fears the consequences of the climate crisis. I dig it. I just don't understand and this isn't necessarily vandalism, right? You can't even charge them with anything other than maybe disturbing the peace, even though they were peaceful doing this. Quote, this peaceful resistance is the means we have chosen to protect our children from the government's deadly ignorance. I just don't understand. I mean, I'm glad they didn't do anything to the dinosaur, right? But I don't know. I don't understand. I'm glad they didn't vandalize, but the reason I followed the story up is because we've been following this and we've been talking about the activists so the one last week we talked about the guy, they were clowns. I mean, they were clowns. The one guy splashes black paint all over the glass protecting the picture. So no damage done, apparently. And then the other clown glues his hand to the glass or the frame, wherever, so that they couldn't clean it properly. Hose them all down with turpentine. Close your eyes and you hold your nose closed. We're about to spray you with turpentine, you dingbat. And it'll help get the glue off of your hand to get it off of our picture. Protesting, obviously, to raise awareness. Great, but can't you do it in a different way with so much video capability and so many things? Can't you just do a PSA and make an impactful 3-minute or 30-second public service announcement and get it out there on social media and everybody else will take hold? I just don't get the whole, think about that. Super glue your hand to something. Ouch. You know, you put super glue on your earring. Oh, the drag queens know what I'm talking about. You super glue the heck out of them so they don't fall off. Yeah, exactly. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But hey, who am I to say, right? The Amityville Horror House is for sale. I don't know about you. I do believe in ghosts in the afterworld and all that, okay? I know this was a movie from a book. The realtors swear this house is not really haunted. It's for sale. And the owners say it's not haunted, not at all. So if you're interested in buying this little piece of hell in Amityville, New York, now I don't know how far Amityville is from New York City, right? But this is a large Dutch colonial house that inspired the book and the movies. The owners are now cutting the price to a meager $955,000. Now, it's a big room. It's a big house, 10 rooms. The original asking price was just under $1.5 million. Then they dropped it to $1.35 million. But the owners that currently own it are going through a divorce. They're selling the property. It has nothing to do with the structure being haunted. Sure. I don't know. It's not that the house is haunted or anything, said current owner Odalis Fragoso. We had wonderful times in that house. I never felt anything, nothing whatsoever. Maybe that's why you're getting divorced, honey. Sorry, out of line. I was just happy that we were buying the house because we saw the potential of it. It's not haunted, not at all. And the selling agent agreed. The selling agent said, if there were a curse on this house, I would not be in it. It is what it is, a nice old stately home. You know what? I can imagine. It used to be 112 Ocean Avenue. Now it's 108. Why? I don't know. Maybe the ghosts move in next door. And I don't know. Oh, it was the site of the mass murder carried out by Ronald DeFeo Jr. against his entire family back in 1974. A year later, George and Kathy Lutz bought the property, but infamously only lived there for 28 days before abandoning the house, claiming it was violently haunted. So it just went to, oh no, it's this, see, beauty of America. I'm trying to sell you something. I'm a realtor, not haunted at all. If it were, I wouldn't be in here. Talked to George and Kathy Lutz, who bought the house, but lived there for less than 1 month because they said it was violently haunted. In their mind, I don't know, maybe not. But if you killed your entire family in the house in 1974, it might not be haunted. Doesn't mean it is, but I just said when we started the show that I believe in that kind of stuff. So therefore, no thank you. Now, do ghosts have the ability to hurt people? Well, let's see. If they can throw dishes and knives through the air, there's nothing saying that it isn't going to go through you. So, could be. But again, you've got to believe in that type of stuff. Now, if you didn't know about all this stuff, a best-selling book was released in 1977, which chronicled the true story of the Lutz family's nearly month-long ordeal. They claimed swarms of flies would appear. Ooze would seep from the walls and toilet. Oh, when you've got ooze seeping from the walls and toilet, it's time to go. Their young daughter was stalked by a pig-like entity, and at one point, the young daughter, or Kathy, became possessed. Well, let's go back to the realtor who said, "Oh no, nothing to see here. Oh no, it's not haunted. If it were, I wouldn't be here." Maybe they're in on it. Well, I wouldn't even take the chance, to be honest with you. They insist the lower price has nothing to do with it being haunted. The housing market has dropped tremendously. That's why people are coming down and buying homes in cash. They're not making money in other investments. They're putting it into real estate. They're selling this thing hard, aren't they? They're really like... And if you remember, they said the Lutzes bought the house at a drastically discounted price in the beginning as well. Well, no thank you. That's just me. I wouldn't do it, not for $1 million. Wait a minute. Good morning, Tony, checking in on the live stream broadcast. I wouldn't do it I guess maybe if you just gave me the home. But what if the stipulation was, we'll give you the home, but you have to live there for 10 years. If you live there for 10 years, on the 10th year, you either move out or it's yours. Whew, that'd be a tough one. If you can make it a day, you can make it a month. If you can make it a month, you can make it a year. The Lutzes couldn't make it a month, so there's your answer for me. No, thank you. I'll just continue to pay for my place that I don't think is haunted. I think if my place was haunted, they'd be like, we're out of here. This person is crazy. But if you're interested, you can always talk to the realtor. She'll give you the old honest truth. 10-room house. It's a big house. And if you've not seen the Amityville Horror, or if you've not seen the Amityville House, the way they've got the triangular windows at the top that makes it look like eyes, and then the deck, and then the 6 windows along the bottom that looks like a row of teeth, and the chimney right up the middle that looks like a big nose, and then at night with the lights on, and it just looks haunted. Well, let's not say haunted. It looks eerie, right? Not haunted. Because other people would look at it and go, that's peaceful. Had I not known all these things about it. Interesting, though. We don't really know what happened in the houses that we live in. It's kind of, you don't want to know. Could you imagine? It was funny. Somebody that I know personally, when I was, I was the president of a performers award group in Detroit, and going through all of the application cards, all the membership cards, I came across one that had my exact old address on it. And I go, no kidding. And I know the person. So when I seen them again, I told them, me, my former spouse, and my children, all 4 of them, lived in that house. And you now sleep in, it's a townhouse. And now you sleep in the master bedroom where all the magic happened. Once he cleaned up all the vomit, he was okay. I'm just kidding. Oh my goodness. So now this leads us to some other creepy stories. Even though it's not Halloween, we don't care. We lead into things, right? Do you believe or not believe, right? 1000 Lombard Street in San Francisco. That's in California, right? Socialite, journalist, and famed party host Patricia Montandon moved into an apartment on San Francisco's famous Crooked Block, Lombard Street, 1960. She lived happily there for 8 years until she had an astrology-themed party in the apartment. There things went bad, right? Now, in her memoir, The Intruders, she attributes the hauntings that culminated in a corporal tragedy, as she called it, which I believe means somebody died, to bizarre behavior of a disgruntled tarot card reader who may have cursed the apartment the night of that fateful party. Careful what you invite into your home. And there's my problem with the going, like in our area in Detroit, Michigan, there's an insane asylum that closed down that is the history of some terrible things, up to and including people being put into an insane asylum because they were gay. People being put into an insane asylum because they did bad things to people or allegedly did bad things to people, and then they were tortured and mistreated, and it is an abomination of humanity. And now we use that for our entertainment, and I have a problem with that. Uh-oh. Yeah, we've got streaming troubles, but as long as we're still on the radio, we're good to go. So I apologize if we're having issues with any of the live streaming, but it is what it is. We'll do what we can do. 1000 Lombard Street. Eerie laughter, faint music coming from within the apartment on repeat, constant rushes of cold wind, despite the windows being closed and locked. Doors are closed and locked. Strange footsteps. All these paranormal things stacked up quickly, right? Also the victim of physical crimes following the party, including a robbery, harassment, possibly an arson, and more. A tragic fire at the apartment, the premature passing of 3 of her close friends, all of whom had separately lived in the apartment between 1968 and 1969. So she sets off her own investigation to uncover the root of the apparent curse on 1000 Lombard Street. Ooh-wee. Oh, wow. That is interesting. A little bit scary. Yeah, a little bit scary. I don't think I'd be living on 1000 Lombard Street in San Francisco anytime soon. What about Hawaii, where you can't even get away? The Kasha House. It's in Honolulu, right? Shrouded in mystery for decades. Just months after the attack on Pearl Harbor, 1941, police respond to a call from a woman shouting, "She's trying to kill my children. She's trying to kill my children." When they arrive, a young Hawaiian boy, his 3 sisters, mother, all shrieking and being tossed around by nothing. 30 years later, other occupants, same home, 1 block away from the original spooky house, report similar attacks by an unseen force, which the responding officers corroborated. Well, I'll tell you what. See, it's not just somebody calling in and then they test positive for meth, which, by the way, today is Methamphetamine Awareness Day. And it doesn't mean go out and do it. It means let's be aware. Let's try to get rid of it. Let's get rid of that like we want to get rid of all the hatred. Even though I'd rather you be a meth head than a butt head. But that's another topic. Two most common theories about what happened here at the house in Hawaii, where witnesses witnessed, that's what they do, witnesses witnessed the unseen forces attacking and tossing people around. Two theories surround this source. Demonic shape-shifting creature of Japanese folkloric origins known as the kasha. And the angry spirit of a corpse buried in the backyard. Now, it's gone. House is torn down, replaced by condos. But the dark energy still lingers, according to the residents and the locals in Kaimuki, Hawaii. I don't think I said that right, but I don't care. I tried. Effort's half the battle. We got an inspirational segment coming up later, too. You do not want to miss it. It is about late blooming. And you know my story. You're going to hear it again, baby. But yeah. Another New York house. And these are all big houses. The Ackley house, named after the Ackley family that lived there. Lived. Keyword, lived. One La Vita Place. Sits on the Hudson River across from Sleepy Hollow, New York. Who would not want to live in a gigantic house in Sleepy Hollow, New York? Come on. I mean, you can't make it up. One La Vita Place in Sleepy Hollow, New York. You put that on your Christmas card, people think you've made it. They're like, oh my God, they're doing so good. They live in Sleepy Hollow, New York, and they live on one La Vita Place. Life's great. Well, maybe not. Ended up being a house that became a local ghost tour stop, which had not so great ramifications when it came time to sell the home in the late 1980s. Right? You made your money off of it because you charge admission to see all this demonic crap go on, but now nobody wants to buy the stuff because of all the demonic crap go on. So they found themselves entangled in a legal battle over whether or not they should have disclosed the haunted nature of the house. Well, no. Now enter a landmark legal decision referred to as the Ghostbusters ruling. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. The Ghostbusters ruling. Ackley House was deemed haunted by the New York Supreme Court. Look it up. I did. You think I just know this stuff? No, I don't. Now the buyers were able to pull out of the sale, and they got only half of their down payment back. Wouldn't that be a bite in the butt? Ingrid Michaelson, a famous musician, has owned the house. Several celebrities have owned the house. It's a big house. You can have it. Yeah, you could go on and on with this, man. I'll tell you what, it is absolutely insane, some of the things that we're unaware of. It like going back to the dinosaur time and everything, just the amazing evolution, not just when I'm talking about humanity, I'm not talking about evolution and creation. I'm talking about the evolution of the world and whether or not we're going to live long like dinosaurs or not. I think everything runs its course in the world. I don't think this world was made for humans, but maybe it was. Maybe God made it, but I think it was already there. and he claimed it, or they claimed it. I'm not going to genderize your God. I don't know that another New York house, and again, they're all big house. East Hampton Estate, Grey Gardens, right? This was featured in 2 episodes of House Beautiful's Haunted House, a podcast, Dark House. So pretty popular. Ghosts walking through concrete walls. That'd be crazy. Be like, how'd you get through that? Oh, it's just wood. It's just plywood, just drywall. No worries. Yeah. What about in Savannah, Georgia? The Mercer Williams house. Oh. In Monterey Square in the city's historic district. Right smack dab in the middle of town. The 1981 fatal shooting of Danny Hansford, and Williams died in the same room as Hansford less than a year later after being acquitted of his death in 4 trials. And then you end up with your karma. Not to mention 11-year-old Tommy Downs fell off the roof in 1969. 1981, they had the shooting. And then a year later, the guy dies in the same bedroom that he killed the guy in, even though he was acquitted in 4 trials. Now, much like the rest of the city of Savannah, Georgia, the home was supposedly built right on top of unmarked graves. What is under the house we live in? What took place in the house between the walls we live in? Do you believe that can linger on, right? Can that become part of the deal? I don't know. Interesting stuff, though. What a way to get started. Start talking about the paranormal and whether it's real or not and all those different things. And I'll tell you what, I do believe it's real. So therefore, even though I don't know that I have faith, I believe, but I think I want to believe. And it's very difficult to sit there and lie and say, oh yeah, I definitely believe that this is the way things are and all that. I don't know that to be true, right? I'm Christian, I believe in Jesus, but I don't know that I can say there's no doubt. I just want to be honest. But when these type of stories come, I go, there's something else. We don't just die and go away, or do we? I don't know. Maybe this is the end of our journey. Maybe our journey started long time ago, and this is the end of it. Maybe we all started together. A lot of people believe that our energy is all from one fell swoop, basically, one big burst of energy at the same time, and we've all landed at different times and places. And humans are the only ones who actually construct time the way we do. So it would be a knee-jerk reaction to say, well, that's not possible because, I mean, there's no way that the energy would last this long for that and this long for that. We're the only ones who look at time the way we do, right? Daytime, nighttime, we label all of it, right? I mean, it's not daylight, it's sunshine. I mean, but we call it things, right? We have to, so that we make sure we can show up to work on time. We got to get there before it closes if we're going to the store. The ball game starts at 1. We got to get there early for batting practice. Well, what time is the gate open? Everything's constructed time only for humans. So the energy, what if we did all become at 1? Boom, millions of years ago. And we're at the end of our journey right now. Or maybe this is the beginning of our journey. People believe that we are a family in Christ before we come to earth, and we come here to learn our lesson. And when we learn the lessons, we go back home. People believe that. And I think it makes it easier when loved ones die to believe that we will see them again, right? When our loved ones, including our animals, when our cats and dogs and bearded dragons and rabbits and guinea pigs and hamsters, and they cross the rainbow bridge, right? We hope that they're waiting for us when we get there, and we want to believe that, right? We want to believe that we'll be running through the grass with the daisies all in there, and the sunshine, and the blue skies, and God sitting up on a cloud next to Jesus going, "Worry not, ye faithful servant." We don't know. But, oh, Lord. All right, where are we at? 7:35 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we got Will Smith on the docket. But we're not gossiping, even though today is Celebrity Soup Gossip Column Day. This is about learning lessons from mistakes in life and how much do we really pay. And it's not about 10 years suspension from the Academy Awards, and it's not about, will you go watch my movie now? We're talking about this. The impact of a young 9-year-old nephew who looks up to you and now questions your definition of manhood, basically. It's deep, right? So anyway, we're going to break and listen to the Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. Keep it locked. We'll be right back. I don't even know if I'm on or not. I mean, I know I'm on the radio, but I don't know if I'm on with you freaks. But if not, oh well. I do my best. I love just looking at my ugly mug all day. All right, we'll be back. I'm going to break.
Welcome to Adam's Apple, your neighborhood LGBT bar serving all your favorite drink. With friendly and knowledgeable bartenders that keep the party going and make sure your needs are met.
It's cheers of the gay bar. Your bartenders know who's coming in, where they're going to sit, how long they're going to be.
Kick back and enjoy some fresh air on their large enclosed heated patio. Open year-round with music and weekly barbecues. Karaoke every Thursday night where you're the star. And Mexican Fiesta on the last Monday of every month. Located at 18931 West Warren, Detroit, Adam's Apple.
Ha. Woo, it's cold. All right. Hope you're ready, because I am.
Your dreams or your chicken out.
Oh, yes. Happy Wednesday. All right. Cut to the chase. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West reach a settlement for their divorce. This is laughable to me. These are extreme, beyond wealthy. These are rich people. They're filthy rich. Each one of them, their own entity. Each one of them, I don't even know who's worth more, right? And who cares when you've got that much money? So Kim and Kanye, Ye, have come to a divorce agreement. Per the agreement, Kim Kardashian will receive $200,000 per month in child support from Kanye, from Ye, who changed his name last year legally to Ye, and I will respect that wholeheartedly. And they share joint custody of their 4 children, which is a good thing. We want fathers and mothers in our American children's lives and the world, but let's focus on America. I know America first is a political slogan, but that's not what my slogan is. So they filed for divorce in February of 2021, citing irreconcilable differences. Now, this is what is laughable. First of all, I understand the money. There should be financial responsibility for the father to take care of the child. But when the mother is a billionaire, and I say that without knowledge, with ignorance, she's at least a millionaire. She's well off, and she's not counting her pennies to make sure her kids can have a Christmas. And I'm not mad at her. Believe you me, I do not get mad at people that succeed. That's not the cloth I'm cut from. This is what's funny to me. In March of 2022, okay, so in February of 2021, they file for divorce. In 2022, Kim Kardashian is declared legally single after being granted a request to change her marital status. How extra is that? How over the top of ignorance is that? You filed for divorce. Then you go and become declared legally single. Is that not what divorce is? Are you not married legally until you're divorced, and that's called legal separation? What am I missing? I don't get it. And we just dumbly, numbly go about our day and don't think anything about that. I'm not mad about the money. The father owes the money. It's laughable though. $200,000 a month to take care of a kid. No, it doesn't take that much money to raise a kid. However, yes, there is the lifestyle to maintain. The child was born into it. It's not their fault. However, to imply that, and now for the Kardashians and for the Ye and the West families, they're financially secure. They're not worried about that. And that's a good thing. We want our children in America to not be deprived of things. So don't be hateful and jealous and green with envy that they're not suffering. Don't be mad. And I don't believe that she doesn't deserve the money just because she's got her own money. The $200,000 a month per child in child support, it's laughable. She doesn't even need it, but it's necessary. I get it. As long as the money goes to the kid, it's so much money we can't fathom it. It's just silly, right? I mean, you don't have to be a mathematician to figure out what $200,000 per month is for a year. But it's millionaires, maybe billionaires dealing with. I don't know about any more for Ye because of the issues he's having, but Declared legally single. What the hell is that? Isn't that divorce? See, it's extra. It's almost like the court goes, hey, let's dream up something else so we can make them file a fee. And not only do they file a divorce fee, they're now going to file a legal separation declaration fee. Legally single. What? And who needs to be declared legally single? What is that for? What's the purpose of being declared legally single? Is it for, what was his name? Davidson. Pete wanted it. I just can't. I mean, you got to be declared single. I filed for divorce from my husband. There's a legal status for that. It's called legally separated. Maybe from state to state it's different, but California, get with it. I just don't understand that. But let's talk about the money. $200,000 a month. And I know it's based on the income made, so that's why. I get it. I'm not mad. I'm not saying it's too much. It's just laughable to me that wouldn't Kim, like, if I was in that situation, wouldn't she just be like, I don't need the money? But then you go, but it's more about being a father. It's maybe you want to. Maybe Ye said, I've got to, right? I know that when I went through my divorce, I gave away my house to my family. I don't feel like I gave it away. It was our family home. My children needed a place a foundation to be, right? And it's far be it from me to take that from them. And I paid a lot more than I was supposed to in child support and giving the house away and not making them. My ex would have had to have sold the house within 5 years. So we got divorced in 2010-ish. So the family house would now be someone else's family house. And I couldn't have that, right? I sleep good at night. Kanye might want to do the same thing, and I'm sure he does. Nobody's ever questioned his fatherhood, right? And I don't know if he's a good dad or not, but nobody's ever questioned it. So I'm not going to. But Kim says she's choosing herself. It's okay to choose you. You're damn right it is, honey. You're damn right it is. And just see, and this is a perfect example. These stories of you've got it all. Kim Kardashian, she's beautiful. She's smart, very smart woman. She's rich beyond wildest dreams, right? Famous. People love Kim Kardashian. What more could you seek, right? I mean, what more could you seek? Still needs to choose herself, which means what? You're making a decision, which means that you're not always happy, right? We all deserve to be happy. Money, we know, doesn't buy that. It gives you a good advantage, but it's not the end all be all. I get a kick out of it. To me, it's just funny that the declared legally single. So there's a legal process above and beyond divorce. It's a money grab, right? Isn't that what it is? Aren't you going down to file more legal documents? Your lawyer can now charge you hundreds, maybe for them, they're so rich, maybe thousands of dollars an hour. It's all a money grab to go downtown and you file for divorce. You're legally separated. You're allowed to spread your legs for others. Maybe that's not what she was doing. Maybe there's a reason legally. Maybe when you have that much money, you've got to be declared legally single in case there's legal implications from Kanye's actions. Yay, his actions. Maybe she's saying, I don't want my estate to be sued because of his actions. I don't know. But it's laughable on the surface to say, I went down and filed for divorce, and now I filed for a declaration of legally single. It just sounds slutty. And I'm not accusing her of that at all. She's never given me any reason to think she's slutty. But if she is, who cares? It's her body and it's her choice. You know what I mean? Girl power. Give it up to anybody. It don't matter. If the price is right. Interesting, though, the money thing. But hey, again, it's the father's responsibility, you know? So, yeah, the money, you got to do what you got to do. Crazy. Will Smith. Well, first of all, let's backtrack that. USA beats Iran in what amounted to about 45 seconds of excitement over a 3-hour game. I'm sure. I didn't watch it. I couldn't possibly fathom watching it. And I know that people that like soccer go, what? You're missing out. No, not every sport's for everybody. Soccer ain't my thing. It takes a lot of talent, a lot of skill, a lot of the stamina, the strength, all of those things, they come into play. Yeah, it's a great sport, just not my cup of tea. Not enough excitement, not 1-0 after all of that, right? In a sport where even if you don't have a goalie, it might be 4-3. In a sport where you don't have a goalie, it might be 6-5 or something. Just not enough excitement for me, but not to take away. I'm not going, oh, it's a dumb sport. No, it's a great sport. It's a sport of stamina, right? Can you still at the last minute be as sturdy as in the first minute, right? In any sport, you're like that. So, but America, the USA beats Iran in a game of football, soccer, right? Now we're in the next round, the elimination round or whatever, win or die or something like that. But good luck. I hope everything works out. And yeah, stuff like that there. Now today it's National Meth Awareness Day. It doesn't mean go out and get your fix, right? That's not what it's about. It's a nationwide effort today, November 30th. Educate the American public about the effects of methamphetamine abuse, not drugs, right? One specific, methamphetamine abuse on families and communities. Increased awareness will hopefully decrease demand. This is a highly addictive drug, right? This is not something that you can just go, you know what? I work full time on a Saturday night. I like to get my meth on. That's not how it works. So it's important. 1 out of 6 young adults has used illicit drugs in the last month. Illicit means illegal. Brain scientists, we have brain scientists now, they now know why just one use of crystal methamphetamine can make a person feel hooked. Today is the day we use in an effort to try to prevent it. Don't do it once, right? There's no level of high that's worth ruining your life specifically and all of the ones who love you. It all starts with one choice. Don't do it. Unfortunately, in some parts of our country, God bless the USA, meth use is increasing. So it increases the amount of dopamine in the brain. Dopamine occurs naturally in our brains, right? It affects our reward center as well as our movement, motivation, and reinforcement. It's the impact area of the brain that makes methamphetamine so addictive. It's the part of our brain that is our reward center, and that's what it affects. So it makes us feel good. The short-term effects of alertness, increased physical activity, reduced or no appetite. One of the biggest tellers of methamphetamine use is the teeth falling out, tooth loss, gum disease, skin issues. You just look like you take meth. And it's not an insult. It's not about how you look. It's a telltale sign of a humongous problem. So on a normal National Day thing, we joke and make fun, but today is National Meth Day. And it's very important to not take that first try. Peer pressure for our young kids is immense. We remember being there. Peer pressure is immense now. I'm 54. The peer pressure on us to be where we're supposed to be and all those things, right? There's a lot of pressure we put on ourselves in life. As you age, you learn how to handle those things. Some of them you go, I don't care about. We're talking to the young men and women, not kids, 16, 15 years old, right? They're decision makers in their own lives at this point. They're not kids when it comes to this. They're kids when it comes to the innocence of where we want them at that age. But the reality is they need to understand, right? Don't even try it. Like when your friends go, hey, let's try it, the best thing you can do for yourself, I don't even know how you can gumption up the courage to walk away. But man, it'll be the best decision you ever made in your life. And I've never done it that I know of. Never want to, never will. Because I love my booze, right? I love to go out to the Adam's Apple and have a drink. I love to go to the hayloft and have a drink while I play pool and darts and meet friends and hang out and just be around people that are just like me, right? They want to, I don't mean transgender. I don't mean gay, LGBT. I mean, just like me. You want to go out and you want to relax after whatever it is you do in your day and you want to have an adult beverage. Nothing wrong with that. But like anything, overindulgence is bad, right? If you drink too much. But there's telltale signs of that too. The big beer bellies, the red face, there's all telltale signs. Families breaking apart and all that. It's easier to trace that. It's easier to nip that in the bud. It takes a while for the beer and the booze to become a problem. Methamphetamine is immediate, right? So today it's about doing what I'm doing. How do we celebrate it? We're not celebrating it. We're trying to reach out to people with an addiction. Or maybe you know people that are doing it. You're on the fence about trying it, but you know maybe it ain't gonna happen to you. It will happen to you. It happens to everyone who tries it. Lucky are they who can try a drug like this and it doesn't affect them for the rest of their lives, right? Even to the point that people say, I quit, it's a quitting process constantly. It's better just to not do it. Just not do it. So since 2006, right, November 30th, National Methamphetamine Awareness Day, it aims to reach potential users with prevention methods and increase awareness of programs and services available to current users, right? And you can overdose on it. It's life-changing. It's not worth it, right? It's not worth it. I've got a story. I've told it before. It's worth telling again. I owe it to him to tell it again. 16 years old, comes home from a party, tells mom, this is a friend of mine. I knew the kid since he was born. I know the mom since I was in junior high school. Come home from a party and said, I tried heroin. And now it's not meth, but the same thing. I tried heroin and I'm hooked. Once. And he was. And he ended up in prison. He ended up stealing from his mother, being sent to his father, stealing from his father, sent to prison. Got his father in trouble, living in the military. His father was a military man. Locked up, come back home, fought it, took his life in a Taco Bell bathroom just after closing, all alone, by himself, dirty drugs. May he rest in peace. He fought it. He was on the right track. But every now and again, it got him. And the one time it got him. They weren't it. It ain't a sad story. It's a very sad story, but that's not what it's about. It's about learning from others' mistakes. It's about not doing it the first time. Don't do it. That's the way you prevent it. Don't do it. Period. I don't know how else to say it. So, yeah, rough way to go. So anyway, not to dampen the day, but hey, realities are what we have to face in this world, and we can't just be all fun and games all the time, right? If a tree falls in the forest and only a meth head hears it, do you really hear it? I know that didn't make much sense. I'll explain. Every monk in a Thai temple has been defrocked. I'll explain what all that means in a minute, but basically they've been kicked out. Every monk in a Thai temple in Thailand has been defrocked, kicked out after testing positive for meth. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. A Buddhist temple in central Thailand has been left without any monks at all after all of them failed drug tests and were defrocked. 4 monks, including an abbot, I don't know what that means. There's no jokes about Costello or nothing like that because I'm not going to disrespect their beliefs and religion. 4 monks, including an abbot, at a temple in, Bong Sam Phan district, Phetchabun, tested positive for methamphetamine on Monday. This is an example of how dangerous this drug is. Monks, a whole temple of monks. They have all been sent to drug rehabilitation. Now here's the thing. The temple's empty, right? Monks are now going, wait a minute. We cannot do any merit making. We can't go build relationships with the community, right? A lot of the merit making involves worshipers donating food to the monks as a good deed. Now people are going to go, well, let's see, maybe not so much. We can look down upon them. We can look down upon them and tisk. But we've also got to understand the impact. Forget, it doesn't affect us, right? This is Thailand. It doesn't affect us so much. But it's indicative of the drug on Meth Awareness Day, right? Methamphetamines, and particularly, I don't know what it is, meth pills called yaba, sold for around 50 cents a piece in Thailand. Yaba is meth pills. Every street corner in Thailand, supply is up everywhere. It's cheaper than a beer, according to Jeremy Douglas, right? He is the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. You know, DC. Interesting stuff. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about Will Smith and what's going on with all of the underlying issues that these things do. So part of an underlying issue for today is that we are looking into self-help, right? We're trying to get things figured out a little bit. So we're going to do that, continue on a beautiful, windy hump day here in the Motor City. I don't know where you're at, where you're listening, but it's cold and windy here, just like a normal late November day. All right, keep it locked. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. Yep. All right, I'll be right back. We got issues that need tissues. Good Lord, what's with this guy? There we are. Oh man, it's hump day. It feels like a hump day to me all of a sudden. I'm dragging. No, never do that. Let's get this music right. Now, we all know there was a big game last Saturday, right? We remember the old Michigan-Ohio State game, right? This leads into something. A woman tries to open an airplane door mid-flight. Once she finds out she's going to Ohio, they said, we're flying out of Texas, heading for Columbus, Ohio. And she said, oh no, we are not, Mary. She bites a passenger, tries to open the emergency exit door on a Southwest flight from Texas to Columbus, Ohio. This is an example of a sore winner. Kids, don't be like me, a sore winner. You're welcome. Yeah, don't be. What is with people getting on airplanes and doing these dumb things? You bite a passenger, right? You try to open an exit door during a flight. Departed from Houston to Columbus, Ohio, Saturday, November 26th. She said, I'm not going to Columbus. You can forget it. 34-year-old woman shoved a flight attendant while trying to exit the door. The flight attendants restrained her. She said, can I at least look out a window? When she was told no, she lunged at the exit door and tried to pull the handle, where she was wrestled to the ground, and she bit a woman on her right thigh. She said Jesus told her to open the plane door. Jesus did not tell you to open the plane door. Jesus did not tell you to open the plane door. Just saying. Oh my goodness, man. It is absolutely absurd what people do. Now, maybe she was hearing things. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But we still can't excuse the behavior, right? We can't put innocent lives in danger because you're having an episode or whatever it is you're having. The woman that was bitten was taken to the hospital for antibiotics and hepatitis shots, where they then flew on to Columbus. Well, we got a lot going on outside. You got the rumbling of the windows. We got car alarms going off. It's an amazing day here. Boy. But at least we didn't do like this woman did. I don't understand what the hell is wrong with people. Odell Beckham Jr. taken off of a flight the other day. Is it alcohol? Is it the drinking that makes people not be able to function properly? Because I don't understand how you allow yourself to drink that much. Does it sneak up on you? I doubt very much there's heavy pours going on at the bars at all your airports. I doubt very much they're heavy-handed when they pour a drink. Unless you're drinking something straight and you're willing to pay $30 a shot for your bourbon. I just don't get it. Quit acting a damn fool. But the reason I wanted to tell this story was so I could play the fight song so that because there was that leading into it. Good morning, Tyler, checking in. we've been in and out of consciousness, so to speak, here with the wind whipping up here in the Detroit area. We've had to rejoin the broadcast a couple times. Thankfully, on the radio side of it, we're solid, good to go. But the live stream broadcast part, we've struggled at best, I believe, to keep it rolling all the way through. But we do what we can do, and that's it. That's all you can do, right? All right, Will Smith. He's been on lately the talk show circuit promoting his new movie, right? And there's some very interesting things coming out of this. Emancipation is the new movie, right? And we all talk about the slap from the Oscars when he lost it, he said. And I can dig it, all right? We're not going to go into it was a Daily Show with Trevor Noah. And he was talking about all of it. And he mentioned the little boy watching his father beat his mother, referencing his father and what he witnessed as a young child and everything that comes with that. These are all things for us to realize. No different than last week when we talked about the conversations that you have at the table. It's not always about what you're talking to your child about. It's the conversations you're having with everybody else at the table, and they hear it all. Whether it be against, maybe you've got racism, maybe you've got LGBT homophobia or transphobia, maybe you've just got things that you're not accepting of in your home. It bleeds to them. Will Smith talking about the 9-year-old nephew who stayed up late to watch the award ceremony. Uncle Will, so proud of Uncle Will, right? Started off in the streets of Philadelphia. And I don't know the streets of Philadelphia, if that's true or not. But his song says, on the streets of Philadelphia, born and raised, on the playground is where he spent most of his days. Fair enough. He made good for himself, right? Did great movies, a great role model for a young black man in America. You can do it, right? You can do it. Barack Obama became president of the United States of America, the most powerful position in the world. Will Smith, lower scale, but just as impactful, maybe more impactful with the way we put celebrities on a pedestal. They let's put up some janetscloset.com. They are mentoring all of our youth, but they're human, right? Will Smith goes on TV, slaps Chris Rock, says, I lost it, making fun of my wife. But there was a lot of other things he said, the little boy watching his dad. How are we teaching our young men and women how to react to bad situations? When somebody disrespects your mother, so you actually pay your mother a larger disrespect than anybody can disrespect when you put yourself in a position that you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison or eternity before you're ready in a body bag. It's not worth it. All these things, let's picture the 9-year-old kid, Uncle Will, is winning an award possibly for his role in what, I forget what movie, whatever it was, King Richard. And to have it tainted like that, it made him look bad. Whatever. Things happen. Well, it could have been much worse. Kudos to Chris Rock for not retaliating and making it a roll around on the floor brawl where security and your buddies that are in the front row have to come break it up. Thankfully, it didn't go that way. Thankfully, Chris Rock just stood there. None of that is as important as the 9-year-old nephew who's sitting there with the Oscar in his hand the next day. These are Will Smith's words. Uncle Will, why'd you hit that man? Killed him, floored him, rips your heart out of your chest. You disappointed a 9-year-old, your nephew, who stayed up late to watch it. So proud of Uncle Will. And then you see that. Uncle Will taught him something that day. Now it's up to Uncle Will to address that and say, nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. I made a huge mistake. This is not how you handle things. In the heat of the moment, this is what I should have done. That child will learn something from that. You can make it a positive. Will messed up. He did. That was the testosterone. That was all those things that came to him, and he just made a big mistake. Well, now let's get to this point. Will Smith made a mistake. Bad move. Does he deserve 10 years of not being able to attend the Academy Awards? Does he deserve it? Or is it a little extensive? Obviously, he will not do it again. He's not the type of person that you would fear if you were around him, right? Like even Mike Tyson, as erratic as he has been in his life and is unpredictable, you still wouldn't fear being around him unless you provoked him to a point of doing something. But you could feel fairly safe. I dare say Will would never do that again. I don't think it's a security issue. But at the same time, you know, you kind of got to say, well, repercussions have to be made, right? Or repercussions have to be felt. Some kind of penance has to be paid. Is it worth 10 years of banning them? I don't know. I don't think it matters to me too much either way. It just seems now that the dust has settled, first of all, he committed a crime on TV, right? We admit that. He committed a crime, assault. But no charges are filed, I don't think. I don't know, and I don't care. But the message has to be sent. Arresting somebody for that, I mean, yeah, maybe he should have been. Maybe he should have been escorted out in cuffs on TV to show everybody this is your reaction and this is what happens when it happens. That could be fair. But then we've got, it's America. It's 2022, 2021 at the time, maybe 2022. A black man being let off in cuffs after a slap. It can look like an overreaction by law enforcement too. I don't think Will Smith is a danger to society. I think he actually, based on movies, adds an element of goodness to our society by bringing things to life on the big screen and television and all the things he's done. But people make mistakes. Roseanne made a mistake. Hurt nobody, just made a terrible joke about somebody, and her career was ended immediately. It was very unpopular opinion back when it happened to say, I stand behind Roseanne. Nobody would do that because what she did was wrong. But in essence, you could argue it's harmless, but there are after effects that can be harmful, right? It's the allowing the hateful rhetoric to go on and all that. But we have rap songs, we have rock and roll that talks about women, sex, drugs, and rock and roll has always been a part of rock and roll. There's an element, I don't want to say criminality, there's an element of criminality to hip hop, right? There's a, maybe not criminality, because that's a terrible legal word to use. They're rebels, right? But it's a different kind of rebel than, you know, like Tom Petty, Rebel Without a Cause and all that. It's a different kind of rebel. But I don't want to tag them as criminal, but they do sing a lot about criminal activity. They rap about criminal activity. They rap about oppression by police. I mean, look, Ice-T and Ice Cube and them made millions in the 80s. They shaped what hip hop was based on that. right? If you singing about love, peace, and harmony and beautiful red rose gardens, that ain't hip hop. It doesn't connect, right? You've tried the Christian rock and roll. It doesn't connect. Like all of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll songs. Same for hip hop, right? It's a different thing. But we teach our kids based on those things. In Michigan now, there's a big deal going on about a jailhouse rap video that was recorded on a cell phone in the jail by two people. One, I think, is in jail for alleged murder, and one is in jail for armed robbery, I believe. And they're making a rap video in jail, with a cell phone. And there's a problem there, right? Not exactly ideal, right? Good morning, Amy, checking in from Panama City, Florida, where it's probably a lot warmer than it is here. Oh, look at that. We got Just Bob checking in too. Look at this, a family reunion.
Oh, poof.
All right. Yeah. So it's very important that we remember it's up to the adult to not make the mistake, first of all, right? Will Smith messed up when hit Chris Rock, but lessons can be learned from it on both ends of the spectrum, right? You want to teach that 9-year-old nephew, this is not how you react. You got to react better. But when you do make mistakes, this is how you handle it. Mm-hmm. You face the music, you admit to your mistake, and you do what it is you have to do to make amends. Put in the work, do better, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. All those things.
I don't know. 10-year ban from Will Smith for the awards. Do you agree with that? Is that much, or is that right on target, or not enough?
You know, from the awards, as far as winning them or just being there?
Being there.
Just being there, that's fine. Don't come in if you can't behave. And that was physical assault, so your presence not being there is fine. He shouldn't necessarily be banned from winning an award if the work that he did was worthy. And I suppose in the event that he won an award, he could come accept it. But just to be there, no.
Well, he can accept it via video, too.
Sure.
So there's always that part of it. Mm-hmm. First of all, I got to say, I'm a little biased because I like Will Smith, right? To me, he projects what the Cosbys projected back in the day, in the 80s. A family, he just projects himself as a likable dude, right? Now, he might be a prick. Who knows? You meet him at a restaurant, he might be the one who says, you were told not to talk to me. But I don't know. I just don't see it that way. But actors can act.
Well,
so maybe he's a prick. Who knows? I just don't see it.
Up to recent times, I think he did that. He seems to be a little bit different or a little off or something, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but just not what we've come to know. And, you know, people change, things change, and I get all that. Again, it's one awards show. Kind of who cares anyway. If he's there or he's not there, you probably shouldn't even care unless he's nominated to win something.
I think he will be.
Yeah, well, that's possible. That looks like the movie that's coming out it might be out already. I know it's imminent. Looks like a great one.
December 9th.
Okay.
It streams on Apple TV Plus, December 9th. Emancipation.
Right. No, I saw, and I had seen the early view of it, but I just didn't know when it was coming out exactly. So good. I mean, yeah, he could very well win an award for that. In that case, then he deserves the award. You win the award. That's great. But you don't have to come be a spectator and hang out because you can't behave yourself. Can't keep your hands to yourself. So I know it's one incident, but nobody else in the history of the show has ever had that incident. So you got to set a precedent, too, for everybody else who might think, oh, well, look, he got away with it, you know.
Right.
Next time I don't like something, I'm going to come slap somebody. That's not how we do it.
Which leads to this part of the topic about Will Smith. He made very good point when he was talking with Trevor Noah in that interview. He not only talked about the horrific decision he made to go slap Chris Rock. It's not that big a deal. It could have been much worse.
Oh yeah.
Chris Rock's reactions helped keep it not a big deal. Had they been rolling around on the floor afterwards, it'd have been a bigger deal.
Well, yeah.
You know. So, but now to the movie. Will Smith plays Peter, right? But the true story that it's based on, the gentleman's name, a former slave named Gordon. And the photographs of his bare back, heavily scourged from his slave masters or whatever the hell you called them back then, your overseer, the whippings, these were published worldwide in 1863, which is one of the things that gave the world proof of the cruelty of American slavery. So it wasn't just not allowing people to be free, they had to work for you. It was dehumanizing them as well.
No, it was steps way too far. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not. It was looking at them as lesser than who we think we are.
Right.
So
for sure.
You're not equating them as equals. They're assets that you beat into submission, and that's not what humanity is about. And 99.99% of Americans believe this to be true. That slavery was wrong, is wrong, and still happens in the world, I'm sure.
Definitely in different ways, but again, the whole concept is wrong. Yeah.
So it's going to be released to select cinemas December 2nd. It'll be streaming December 9th on Apple TV Plus.
Okay.
And basically, it's about nearly being whipped to death. An enslaved man named Peter escapes from a Louisiana plantation, outwits the cold-blooded hunters as he makes his way north, where he joins the Union Army. Here's Will Smith's his concern. He takes full actions for what he did. He hopes, and this is a very legitimate thought, if you're sitting there on the fence about, I'm not going to go see this movie because of what he did, think about all the other people that put in their work for this movie that had nothing to do with the slap.
I did see the interview. Yes, it was a perfect point. Very well taken.
Yeah,
and
very much.
Absolutely, and especially given the storyline too. And the relevance that carries, the weight that carries, and what, at least from the clips, the outstanding job that he did. I mean, you weigh a lot of things. Yeah,
true story. I mean,
I just feel like, in the one instance, if you don't do something about, going back to the award show for a minute, if you don't do something to acknowledge and penalize an action, then if you just sweep it under the rug and say, oh, well, I think it almost is, it's kind of disrespectful in a way. I mean, you want to at least recognize and, I don't like to say make an example of, because that's a bad, that's a bad way of saying it, but let it be known that it won't be tolerated. There are consequences, and do them. I mean, just do what they say. It's again, it's a TV show. Really, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's an important movie.
The movie is.
It's an ugly part of our history.
No, definitely. No, I meant of his presence being there. It's not that important whether he's at the.
Oh no, right? No, that's not right.
No, it's a TV show. Who cares?
Yeah, true.
Movie, it carries much more relevance, and I think that should be where the focus is.
I think I'm biased. I like Will Smith, so I hear an echo. Do you got headphones on?
No, I don't. I shouldn't I? I have those.
I like Will Smith, so I feel like I might be being biased.
No, I like him too.
I don't know. I don't know that banning him. Something has to happen. Something has to happen.
Right.
You can't
then come
allow
up with some
him-
other.
You can't allow him to just. I guess banning him is the right thing, but maybe 10 years is a little excessive. Maybe
Well,
2 years.
and I'm fine with any kind of a compromise solution. This is the only one that was on the table, and I think something needs to be said and done. Come up with something else, and if 10 is too much, which it very well could be, again, I look at it from the standpoint of I don't really pay it attention anyway, so in my head it just doesn't matter because it's not that much to start with. But in the industry and among his peers in that, it is probably excessive. And, like you said, definitely it has to be known that there are penalties for acting that way. And he'd be, again, the Will Smith that we know would totally just, he would take it and say, I did this. I'm going to do my penance and be done,
And I hope that people will go see this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Just so that, I don't want you to go out of your way. But first of all, it's an important message being told based on a real life thing that happened. Just looking at the picture, did you see the picture of the guy's back?
Yes.
Unacceptable. You think about what it takes to have a scar that bad. If you look at your worst scar on you, most people, it's not that bad.
Right.
These scars are from not burns, not a car accident. This is from a man smacking you with a leather whip to beat you into submission.
Right. And it's not even just one scar. His whole back, top to bottom.
Right. Your whole entire back.
Right.
And don't tell me that there's not nerve and muscle damage, that you're not near. The pain doesn't go away when the wound heals.
Mm-mm.
Because it's not just a mental scar. It's that stuff can't heal properly. You can't possibly tell me that in the 1800s that the slave owners gave proper medical attention after that happened.
No, you're right.
So they were probably sent back to their village or wherever their encampment, and they were tended to by their loved ones to try to nurture them back into health and stuff. It's a despicable display of humanity across any border.
Yep.
To be able to treat another person that way is unfathomable to me. I couldn't befriend someone like that, even when it was acceptable back in the day. Because if I can't beat you like that, then you can't do that to someone else.
No, you're totally on target. It's, I don't have that in me. I could never do something like that on an ongoing basis. That's certainly, it's not even a case of self-defense or anything like that. Which
completely, yeah.
Yeah,
completely.
I'd have a hard enough time doing it then, but certainly not under that situation.
Yeah, when they have it coming, it'd be hard enough to do. Let alone just because they didn't do their share of work fast enough or whatever it is you're beating them for. It's a bad part of American history. Harley's checking in. Hi, Bob. Hi, Sapphire. Got my day off of work today. All right,
Harley.
enjoy. Funeral for my grandpa tomorrow. Well, Harley, sorry about your grandpa passing away. That sucks.
Yeah.
Hopefully he lived a good life and, you can pay your respects tomorrow. Sad thing. But it's important to remember we got to say I love yous and treat people right while we're here.
Sure. Of course. And we forget. Yeah. We forget all the time.
Oh, yeah. For sure. So, yeah, Will Smith making a mistake. They probably even thought about, should we put him in this movie?
Well, and kudos to them for, considering him despite that one action. Yeah, and he also had then, I'm sure it was under he knew that the scrutiny was on him and all eyeballs were on, this better be a damn good performance, and it absolutely was. So
I can't wait to see it. I don't know that I'll watch it in the theater though. I think I'll wait till it comes out and I'll watch it. I don't have whatever plus they got, whatever that is.
Apple.
Yeah, but I'll wait till I can see it. But I think it's important. I think it's important to see these kind of movies based on a true story. So you can bet there's not going to be a lot of dramatics added to it. Like you're not going to be able to sit there and say, well, these beatings really didn't happen that bad. Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
There's proof.
Yeah.
And it's a despicable thing. There's no way you can say anything different. It's despicable.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. I probably wouldn't go see it in the theater either. I tend to want to go to the theater. If I'm going out, it's for a good time. It's for laughs. It's for comedy. It's for, fun. It's not for something like that to go out for. But I would definitely watch it, on Apple Plus and within my home and take it all in. And then, try to understand the messaging in that. It's just not something that, to me, for me personally, it's something that's a little too heavy to go out and just watch in the theater.
Yeah, I feel the same thing. It's one of those that you can absorb it at home a little bit differently than in a room full of people. Because I'm more like you. I feel the same way, kind of. It's not a joyous like. I go to the theater. I want to all laugh together and all ooh and ah together and all that. I don't want to be heavy together.
Right.
And
you just
personal
and watch it and you have feelings about it and that, and then you're like in an awkward place too, where it's like everybody's kind of sitting around looking at each other. It's at the end, and it's kind of like, no, that's just kind of just let everybody take from it what they will, and if you like to go to the theaters for that kind of a movie, then absolutely go. I would definitely watch it, but I would watch it at home on a stream.
Me too. But there's something about the theater experience, but this isn't this movie you wouldn't go because like Star Wars and Avatar and the big screen, you got to see it like that. But this one, you're more like this to me, even though it's not educational, it's educational.
Oh, it's educational, and I don't need any special effects on the beatings and things like that. I mean, I get it. I'm just watching it as is.
Because you can't call it entertainment, right?
No,
it's really,
I
mean, it'll be entertaining, but in a horrific type of way, in a ugly history reminder type of way. Like when you're watching something about the Holocaust, or you're watching something about slavery, or about 9/11. Those are all things that you don't really watch for entertainment, but it's still a value to your, whatever.
Well, there's a much more intellectual component to it, and a much more, again, a meaningful nature to it, as opposed to going and watching something silly and laughing about it. It's just, again, to me, it's a time and place thing, and totally support it, but we'll have the comfort of my couch. Don't have to walk far to the restrooms, it's all that kind of thing.
All right, quick break, couple songs, we'll be back. I got a nice little segment coming up. It's a little for the late bloomers, right? The ones who, like myself, went to broadcasting school at 48 years old. When's it too late, or is it? I think it's too late when you're in the grave or when you're in the urn.
Size medium.
Unless you're like Genie, then you can live in the bottle and just rub out. Wait, we don't want to say rub out.
Oh,
don't. Don't rub one out.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah. On that note, we're going to break. All right, we're going to be back in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about late blooming. Cool. And it's going to be a nice little upbeat story.
Perfect.
Also, everyone's going to be forced to be gay married for at least 2 years. Oy vey. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
One of Detroit's premier LGBT bars, the Hayloft Saloon, where men meet men and everybody's welcome, or the Cheers of the LGBT Detroit bars, Adam's Apple, where they know what time you're coming in.
We come back at 9:28.
9:28. Cool. I'll be back.
9:08. We'll be back. here, we got a couple of good things to talk about. One is, finally, the Senate has passed a landmark legislation Tuesday, today's Wednesday, that will codify federal protection for marriages of same-sex and interracial couples. Could you imagine living in a world where a black man and a white woman or a black woman and a white man could not marry because of the color of their skin in 2022?
No.
It's a sad fact that we have to make it law.
Mm-hmm.
Not only for interracial, because you think about it, an Italian and a Chaldean are interracial. Nobody looks down on that because they're both white-ish, right?
Sure.
It's crazy to me. But even more impactful, Respect for Marriage Act allows same-sex marriages. Love is love. And that's not a cliche. Who cares who's married? You don't have to like it. It can be gross to you. It's okay.
Right. Yeah. That's totally fine. And again, it's when you talk about things like separation of church and state, nobody's saying that this has to be recognized even in churches. Churches are their own thing. It's more of a mindset than anything else. So, but under law and under just common sense rights for everyone in the country,
ding ding,
kind of saying,
Human Decency, Respect for Marriage Act approved 61-36 with support from all Democrats and 12 Republicans. 3 amendments were offered by Republicans who opposed the bill. Those amendments were rejected.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay if we don't need names and addresses, right? And names of the firstborn kid because they don't agree with same-sex marriage. It's okay in America not to agree with it, but the people have spoken.
Right. Well, besides that, the IRS has those anyway, so...
Yeah, right. The measure now returns to the House for final vote before it goes to President Joe Biden, who said he looks forward to enacting it. Good.
I'm saying, yeah, and?
I mean...
Get the thing signed, and let's move on. We got other things to work on, but this is really important in that, again, if that's what it takes to get the job done and make things happen, then let's do it.
It doesn't change your life one bit. If you're out there listening going, oh, great, the gays can marry. The gays can marry. And the thing is, who cares? It doesn't affect you one bit, right? So Joe Biden says in a statement, quote, with today's bipartisan Senate passage of the Respect for Marriage Act, the United States is on the brink of reaffirming a fundamental truth. Love is love. And Americans should have the right to marry the person they love, according to Joe Biden.
Well, and a whole lot of other people.
Oh, yeah. 71% of Americans said
we're
for it.
Yes, I got you.
So 3 out of 4 people say, I don't care who you're marrying. I don't care. Right.
It was funny when you said earlier. It was funny when you said earlier everybody gets a chance to be gay married here in the next couple of weeks. I say you think your marriage you think your marriage has drama? Get gay married and let's see what happens.
Oh man, you want to talk about drama?
It's like you might not care at all. You might say, you know what, go for it.
2 gay men in a marriage is about as drama filled as a drag queen filled van going to get new wigs.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, we deserve, whether we're gay, lesbian, bi, transgender, black, white, Asian, whatever, we deserve the pursuit of happiness. We deserve to be able to do what every big, burly, bald, got hair all over your nutsack man, the American man, big guy, barely wipes his ass right. No problem. You want one thing. You want to be able to take and provide for your family. That's it.
Yeah.
So does the flaming homo. That's it. They just want to provide for their family. George Michael had to give writing rights to his partner in life so that he could make sure that later in life he was taken care of. That's not right. We
No,
want
I mean they
everyone.
had to. Yeah, they had to go about it through legal channels and things like that, and a lot of people prior to this have had to do that, take all those extra steps to make sure that you know, their loved ones were taken care of the way they wanted, and that other people couldn't interfere with it. So
Yeah. And believe me, you know a gay person. You know a gay person. Guarantee it.
haha.
If you're on the front line of a production, look down the production. If there's 20 men in that room, one of you are gay, maybe more.
I was saying that's probably more.
Yeah, but it's okay.
That's
it's
fine.
no big
That's
deal.
fine.
Yeah.
Who does? Yeah, exactly.
So it's very important for us to realize that all it is no difference. Transgender people go, what's wrong with them? Nothing's wrong with us. We deserve to be able to go out and be employed and be productive members of society. Would you prefer me sit at home and do nothing and you pay me?
Yeah, collect money off your dime.
Yeah, because I'm dysfunctional. I'm completely functional from head to toe, more functional than most people, half my age. You know, but it comes down to basic humanity. Chuck Schumer. I'm not a fan of Senator Schumer, right?
Nor I. But
it's personal to him, he told reporters. He said, I'm wearing the same tie today that I wore when my daughter married her wife.
Right. Well, now
That's when it
like
hits
you
hard.
said, yeah, and like you said, everybody knows somebody who's gay, probably more than one person. And
right. Do they not have the right of happiness, of financial security, and all that? I mean, it's silly to think that it wouldn't be that way. It's silly, you know. So
again,
kudos.
If it bothers your religious beliefs, that's okay. It doesn't matter, because that's not what we're talking about here. We're just talking about basic human rights that, if it does bother your religious beliefs, maybe there's something wrong with those.
Well, yeah. And the
I'm just saying,
Catholics.
Right.
You're not getting married in the Catholic Church.
No.
That's okay.
Well,
don't sue the
is
Catholic Church to demand the gays get married in it. They don't agree with it. That's okay.
No, they don't have to, and that's fine.
But I'll tell you one thing. I was a camera operator at a church. They welcomed me with open arms. In fact, I became part of a lesson. People looking at me, registering it all, letting it process. What is they doing here? Well, I got my badge. I'm part of the staff here. So yeah, I got a skill. I'm somebody.
Right.
You know, and we like think that we're not welcome in society. We are. Just not all walks of society. Right.
No, way more than, than not. And again, the majority of people in the majority of situations are good and fine and kind and do the right thing and respect and all of that. And it's only the minority crap that we hear about, the bad behavior and the all the things that aren't right with the world. You could bet that there's people screaming on their soapboxes constantly about it. You don't hear about all the good things and all the good people. So again, you take that into account when it's the fact that there has to be a law. Fine, make it a law then.
Make it a law then. Yeah.
Fine.
And,
okay,
and
good.
It's so silly. To me, the people that oppose it's a moot point. What does it matter? Like, well, God don't care. I got news for you. God doesn't care what you're doing when it comes to that. He probably cares more about his own priests negotiating with children than any man-on-man situation or woman-on-woman's hot. Butt sex is disgusting. But if it's a woman, not so bad, right? Yeah. Two women, oh, that's hot. Two guys, oh, man, how could they do that? What? Weird to me. But we're taught that. We're taught that at the dinner tables across America. And it's not even, because your dad might be like one of these. Your dad's sitting there scratching his nuts going, let the homos get married. Who cares? I don't understand it. You're teaching your kid that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better way to go about it. And it's not our call to make. It's their choice to make. But the best way to learn is to be involved in it. My uncle, God rest his soul, not care for black people till his daughter started dating black people, fell in love. He made no bones about letting them know, people know about his feelings. Tell you what, you want to talk about a lesson learned in life. He completely did a full circle. And it was almost like his lesson to learn in life. And people can change, but it's all about what you're like. He wasn't raised that way. It's all about how, like, the friends that you associate with at a young age. And back in the day, it was a lot different. Being born now, gay marriage ain't that big of a deal. Being born now, nobody cares if you're black or white or Asian. The younger generations don't care. But at home, they might be being taught a different kind of thing. So, something to think about. All right. When it comes to creating the life that you want, better late than never. You don't have to be in your spot by 25. In fact, by 25 years old, you're probably not in the spot you're going to be in 25 more years. And quite possibly, it's safe to say you wouldn't want to be, right? Let's take Susan McGregor. She is a late blooming Antarctic scientist. In 1969, she drops out of college to marry the love of her life. Within a year, he gets drafted. It's 1969, Vietnam War. His soldier's pay didn't cover expenses, so she started working a series of interesting jobs. One, selling cemetery plots over the phone. Later, an apprentice meat cutter for Safeway grocery stores. Still managed to graduate from college. When she entered graduate school, her coworker said, "Do you realize that in 4 years, when you graduate, you'll be 45 years old?" She said, "In 4 years, if I don't graduate, how old will I be?" Earning that PhD in bioinorganic chemistry has provided opportunities I could never have dreamed of, she said. At 54 years old, I'm 54. At 54 years old, she deployed to Antarctica with the U.S. Polar Program. The year she turned 62, she spent 9 months during winter at the South Pole. Holds the record for the oldest female to ever overwinter at the South Pole. So go ahead and believe you can't do it. Mumbi Maturi, a late blooming photographer. She's from Nairobi, Kenya. She's in her mid-50s. Started her photography career 6 years ago. A really late bloomer, she said, right? But she doesn't feel like she is. I feel this woman. I feel her. She's considered a late bloomer. But she doesn't think so because she can't imagine doing it at any other age. You weren't ready yet for whatever the reasons were, right? She considers herself a young photographer, even though she's not young, only young at heart. I feel that. I feel that immensely. Like, I know that at my age and in this profession where I stand, I don't stand there. I don't stand in those footprints. I can't feel that. I feel like she does. I feel young and I feel invigorated. I don't feel like been doing this for so long, right? It's new.
Mm-hmm. Sorry about that. Had a little burp in the system here this morning. Windy where we are.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah, Berberigmus of the computer.
And the weather too. It's
well, that has something to do with that. Yeah.
Little power bump. Anyway.
We've got Barb Rosenstock, right? Never thought of herself as being creative. Regular office worker, then a stay-at-home mom for years. At 46 years old, she starts noodling around with writing children's books.
Mm-hmm.
few years later, many rejections. Her first book gets published when she's 50.
Good for her.
So 4 years of doing it.
Good
so
for her.
50. Boom. Now 62. She signed her 25th children's book contract this year.
Wow. That's great. Yep, it is definitely a state of mind as much as anything. And if you set your mind to doing something, you can certainly figure out a plan realistically.
Absolutely.
Set your goals realistically, but also, certainly have them. I'm going through some mental reinvention myself here, being of a certain age also. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of exciting. It can be. It doesn't happen as quickly as you'd like, but it's definitely something to focus on as opposed to poor, pitiful me.
Exactly. Have something to be working toward, something to be working for. How about Rick Klingman, right? This guy, 2019, turned 70 years old. The songwriting bug bites him. Always loved music, never thought of himself as a songwriter. But at 73 years old, his project called the Song Seeds Project has 35 original songs that he wrote.
That's great. Sometimes, it has to do something with life in general. If you're spending the first half to 3/4 of your life, getting married, raising a family, doing all those things, building a future, supporting people, you get to that place where you finally have the time for yourself. It could probably be a little overwhelming because you go, wow, now I got this free time on my hands that I never had before. What am I going to do with it? And it's a great opportunity to do all kinds of things with it. But it's landed in your lap maybe for the first time in your life where you've had the time to just sit there and wonder, And so I think, there's a lot of creativity that could come at that point in life. Things that you've been waiting to do or holding back.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
Right.
How about Cecilia Zoltansky? Lost my career and my marriage. All my adult children had launched their own lives already. I'm sitting here alone, right? She drifted, trying to salvage her career, endless job searches, failed interviews, nothing working. So she said, screw it. I'm enrolling. I didn't even know they had this, Bob. Sailing school. We call that the Navy.
Yes.
I knew nothing about it, but I wanted to sail big sailboats offshore.
Hmm.
Well, she earned her qualifications, and she says, suddenly, and beyond my wildest dreams, my life accelerated.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. She was chosen to crew a sailboat, making legendary passages through Tahiti to French Polynesia, and then sailed from Fiji to Australia. Over 65 years old, living her best life. Couldn't get better.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That is awesome. And she made a break and kind of a total mental change. And it was just like, okay, well, screw it. I'm doing something different. So, it comes back to doing the same thing and getting the same results. And
right.
And I guess it's meaningful in life too. Sometimes you have to shake your stuff up a little bit and, different people get around different situations and you get a whole new view of things.
Yeah. I mean, there's endless stories of people later in life going, wait a minute, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. And I'm still alive. Let's do it. Yeah.
As long as you're living, you're alive. And as long as you're alive, you should be living.
That's right.
I mean, people like to make it a burden to live. No way. Mm-mm. Late blooming pastry chef, share little. That's not a way of life. Share a lot. About a month after her 50th birthday, she went to culinary school to study pastries and baking. Baking, not banking. Baking. She got a job at a pastry place, right? Mm-hmm. Never had even set foot inside of a professional kitchen before.
Very nice.
Now,
again, total change of environment,
It's never too late. And everything we do, we're learning this too as we go forward in life. not everything that we learn that makes your skill set applicable is from that, right? If you're an accountant, you need more skills than just being able to add good, right? If you're whatever it is you do, you've got to be able to problem solve. You've got to be quick thinking. We've got all those things. Every job wants a quick thinker. How many jobs you got says we prefer somebody who doesn't think between Wednesday and Thursday night?
Right.
You know,
True. A lot of skills do cross over or have crossover potential. Yeah, I mean, some things are totally applicable to a trade or a skill set, but a lot of things are general. They also call some of them soft skills, like people skills, things like that. How do you get along? How do you negotiate? Those kind of things.
exactly. Problem solving, being part of a team. You could teach people skill. You could teach people damn near anything, right? Damn near anything, but you got to have that will to do it.
I would say
You
all you
also
gotta
got
do
to
is-
invest in yourself too. If you're interested in something, do that, right? So that way, when you get your chance, you don't have to be brushed up completely, right? The lady decided she wanted to write books. 4 years of learning how to write books until finally somebody said she's got it. Well, had they taken a chance on you and signed you day one, they would have been disappointed in the product that you put out.
Right.
It takes that time, but you can build skills, your stick-to-itiveness, your determination, right? Somebody applies for the same job for 3 freaking years in a row. And that hiring manager finally goes, I can't get anybody to stick around. This person's been applying for the job more than the past 5 people we put in it have been on the job. Maybe we can teach this person to be that person we need.
And that's the other thing. Be open to accepting input, and if you say to an employer, I have these skills and I'm willing to be, taught, shaped, and molded into how your company does it. I don't have any bad habits to unlearn, things like that. I fresh, new, how do you do it? That's how I want to do it, And
it's never too late.
I think that goes a long way too. That's something I think important to say in an interview, especially if you are kind of on the edge as far as some of the skills you might lack in that. But if they toss an interview your way or even a phone call, present yourself in that way. And I think it gives them something to think about. And maybe they're not expecting to hear that either. So you kind of catch them off guard, surprise them.
All right, you got a word of the day?
I do. It's a short one, a little bitty word.
Hey, I don't want to hear your personal business.
I know. I try not to put it out there. This one's
Short, I don't
real.
blame you.
This one's real small. Kef, K-E-F. One of the shortest words there is.
Kef.
Kef. It's a state of drowsy contentment.
Oh, jeez. Perfect.
Sounds like Sunday morning to me.
I know, that's right.
And we all like, easy like a Sunday morning. It's
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
So Kef. I've never heard that before. So you're in a state of Kef.
No, in our walk of life, it's pronounced Keith. That's the, never mind. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. In some states, it's legal to know. In other states, it's not.
Right. Google it.
Google it. That's right. Google it, damn it. We're not going to contribute to a dysfunctional America. Or maybe it's a functional America if everybody was on that, but who knows. All right, that does it for us today. Thank you for letting us in your house, car, or wherever you were listening. Did you have any last words, Bob?
No. Kef. Enjoy it.
Cough, enjoy.
Drowsy confusion, or drowsy contentment, not confusion.
Remember, opinions are a dime a dozen. Validation is for parking, and loyalty is not just a word, it's a lifestyle. Life is too short to put your key to happiness in someone else's pocket. And I got a lot of pockets because I'm wearing a coat.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah. In a world where we can be anything, be kind. We have no idea what one kind word or a friendly smile can do. We don't know what people are going through, right? People put on a good mask and a good front. We don't know what people are going through. Just be kind. Could change their whole day. Until Friday morning, I'm Sapphire'S.
I'm just Bob.
We're out of here. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Oh, so cute.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see here. Get rid of all this. Next show to come into a clean slate. There, now we can turn that up so I can hear.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, that concludes this rough broadcast. I think we had to keep redoing it and everything. So I don't know how much of it actually got broadcast, but whatever.
It's a
Until
bumpy ride
Friday.
today, yes.
What's that?
A bumpy ride today.
It was, yeah, a lot of turbulence. So, all right, we're out. We'll see you Friday. Bye-bye.
See ya.